dudes and babes, DT here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new episode of Clash Royale. Today I'm going to show you a really simple strategy that I've been using and that actually has helped me to get into Arena 7 Frozen Peak. So as you already know, in the previous video I've told you guys that I got a princess out of a silver chest, which was really unbelievable, and princess has definitely helped me to push a little bit further and be able to get into Frozen Peak. Now the deck that I'm using is not rocket science. It is really simple, and everything that I have in it, with the exception of the legendary cards, is kind of pretty universal. I'm assuming a lot of you already probably have that if you watch in this video. So basically the deck features a soak up damage card, which of course in my case is the giant. It features the muscle, which in my case are the Valkyrie and the musketeer, and some of the defensive troops. For defensive troops, I'm using the princess, of course. I'm using the ice wizard. I'm also using archers. The reason I'm using them for defensive is because I do not feel that with the amount of the hits per seconds that they're able to take, they are going to be super effective into a push. I may be completely wrong, and if I am, do go ahead and let me know, but it has been working for me, so I'm going to share the goodness. So as you can see right here, I am starting with the push of my giant going forward, and the princess kind of stays right there, right at the crossing of the bridge. And look at that, the Valkyrie actually comes back and goes for the giant instead of hitting up the princess, which would have only taken one spin of that axe and she would have been history. So we actually managed to put quite a few hit points, or quite a few hits, into that arena tower. Now the next thing here is to defend your side of the arena, and of course with the royal giant being in the picture, it is not the easiest, but of course what I'm using here is putting the cannon in front and using the muscle troop to put in a few more hits, a few more stabs into the royal giant. Now the reason I'm using princess offensively is because she does not have a whole lot, guys. It only takes a zap or a bomb thrower or a poison spell for a few seconds and the princess is gone. So what I've been doing is I kind of have been mostly deploying the princess dead on in the middle, right next to the king tower, because of her proximity to the king tower, nobody is going to want her hit her up, because the second you do, it activates the king tower, and that is not something your opponent wants to do. So use that wisely, and do use that location and proximity to give you a little bit of an advantage. Now of course with princess range being nerfed, the gameplay may change just a tad, so we're just gonna have to go with it and figure out how to move forward, but I do think that it's still going to be a pretty solid strategy. So here is another push, and just a few seconds before I drop the giant, my opponent drops the royal giant, which I wish I would have saved that elixir, but it's okay. We're still going to stop him, and all it takes, my giant, is just one hit and we got one crown down. So let's go ahead and break this up. I've also actually won with my princess in Arena 7, so we're gonna look at that replay as well, just because it helps you to kind of really solidify the notion of how this deck is working. And I've gotten 2 chests so far from Arena 8, and I cannot wait to open them, because that means there is an opportunity for another awesome card, a bowler or a lumberjack, or of course an ice spirit, which I'm not crazy about, but hey, if I get it, I will get it. So here is the deck that I felt was a little bit challenging, and this one here was not an easy win for me, guys. The opponent that I'm going up against has a miner, which miner we all know is super OP. It is so fast, it is so sneaky, and so the minute my opponent revealed that he or she has the miner, I sort of totally had to rethink my strategy altogether. Now in addition to that, he's also using a spawning deck. Now he's got the furnace, he's got the goblin hut, and he's got the miner to help him out there to sneak up on you while you're too worried about all the troops rushing up to you across the other side of the arena. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this unveiled, and I will show you exactly what I mean by placing your princess dead in the middle, so you can actually protect her, keep her alive for as long as possible, because like I said, it doesn't take much to actually take her down. So here we are going into second minute of the gameplay, and so far I have gotten a few hits into the opponent's tower, and of course he has gotten a few into mine. Now what it is going to come down to is just holding off and making sure that I have enough elixir to counter the miner. Now look, when the miner drops, basically what I've been doing in this particular game is I've been countering the miner with the Valkyrie. Now the Valkyrie is really fast in, taking him down, but he's still going to pack a few punches in. He's still going to cause a pretty good amount of damage. So here we are, I'm dropping the Valkyrie. Now when the miner drops, do not panic. Miner is an intimidating card, but all you gotta do is keep your cool, because you have to just be ready for the next step. Now I was running really low on the elixir, but so was he. I'm getting a ton better at just making sure that I'm counting the elixir by seeing what cards my opponent is deploying. If you've been playing enough, you already know exactly how much each card costs, so you should be really good at summing that all up, knowing how many elixirs you start with and how fast the elixir of course regens. Now if you are a fan of orange juice, you should go and check him out. He's got some great videos where he explains how fast the elixir regens and how fast the elixir regens once you go into the 30 seconds left. So basically over here I am holding on to my knickers, guys. Look at everything coming down my way. He's spawning right and left, and I know he's got that miner, and guess what, the miner is coming. So right here I was about to panic because I didn't have any elixir to counter the miner, but just last second my troops were actually able to rush forward and get that one crown down. So let's take a look at the very first victory that I had in the Frozen Peak, and from there on I'm just going to straight up talk to you about what is next for the princess in my deck. Now this is my first victory, as I said, in Frozen Peak, and what I'm doing here is just getting acquainted, getting used to the princess. I've played the card obviously previously. You've seen a few videos already, but what it takes is, practice makes it perfect, especially in Clash Royale, where, you can think that you can predict every possible scenario, but you always have to just be in that moment and think on your feet. So right over here, I was really shocked, guys. My opponent had level 10 crown tower, and he also had a bowler, which is a really great card. Look at that, the damage from the bowler, it can actually hit up your troops all the way across. Like, he doesn't just have to roll it straight down at you like you do with the log. So I was really shocked to win, but now looking back at it, I can sort of see how, because I did keep my cool, I did not panic, and I just was trying to remain very methodical, because panic does not get you far in Clash Royale, because just like I said, it is all circumstantial, and you just have to be ready for the next step. You do have to be really careful in the beginning, figure out what your opponent has to play with, figure out that deck, and right over here I could have dropped my Valkyrie really early on, but I didn't. I dropped her once the witch already kind of crosses and zooms down, so then she has to turn around, and so do her little skeletons. So just be very careful, and remember, if you have a deck where you have your solid soak up card, your damage soaker, right, and your muscle and your defensive cards, you should be fine. Which, if you're watching this video, if you're watching the video about a princess, you probably by now have a very large variety of cards to pick from. Now if you don't have the princess, I understand, many people don't, you can substitute her. You can substitute her with a musketeer. If you don't have an ice wizard, you can substitute him. Many people substitute ice wizard with a witch, actually, because regular wizard sometimes does not just quite cut it. So make adjustments as necessary, but remember, in the case of princess, you have to make sure that the princess stays in a safe spot, which the safest spot for her, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, of course, is right by the center, the heart of the king tower, because that's where nobody's going to want to touch her, and she's going to stay alive for as long as possible, and that's exactly what you guys need. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my little recap and a little bit of my mumbo jumbo strategy, guys. If you have an awesome deck with the princess, go ahead and drop a suggestion below, and I'm going to make sure to give it a try. And remember, stay clashy and stay dangerous. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, I'm out.